Hi guys, welcome back to another video. As you might be knowing that I work in New York City and I get many questions regarding this city, that it might be so fun to work in this city, but moving to New York City is one of the greatest challenge you will ever face. There are many things which you need to understand, like from career path to networking to cost of living to salaries. There are many more things to evaluate in this situation. Like whenever you hear about Manhattan, New York City, you might be thinking, oh, there are great buildings, there are great skyscrapers, Broadway shows, Times Square, so you might be willing to come here. But there are pro and cons of this city which never sleeps. Now, I have been working in this city from almost 4 years, and I might be the best person to talk to how it feels to work in New York City. As you all know, I am a construction project manager in Manhattan, and I work in all 5 boroughs wherever our projects takes us. We are going to discuss all these pros and cons of working in this city, and also you have to decide whether working here is for you or not. Films have made this city so popular that everyone wants to come here and work, but it's not always easy to work here in New York City, and at least it's not easy to survive here in New York City. Which amount of salary you get, what amount of taxes you pay, and whatnot. So you have to decide carefully whether this is for you. I think the best age to come to New York City would be from 18 to 25 to 30 years, because you get to learn a lot of things which you never knew, and also you will be able to figure out many more things in upcoming years. So this city is best to get experiences. This city is best to explore your career options and many more things. So let's find out what I'm talking about, and let's discuss all the pros and cons in this video. Now, the first thing I would like to say is there is a lot of competition. When I say competition, I'm talking about 8 million people. The population is so big in New York City that it's very competitive to get a job. And I'm not only talking about New York City people. The states like New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, who are neighboring state of New York City, tri-state area, all people, they also come and work in New York City. Why? Because this is a land of opportunities. When I talk about all this competition, the companies are looking for top talented people, and since New York is considered to be the headquarters of the businesses. When I say New York, like New York means Manhattan, New York State means it includes upstate, New York City and whatnot. Most misconception which people get because they are not familiar with New York City. So when I talk about competition, the positive plus point is if there are more people, there is a lot of opportunities. Between remote work facilities and all the skyscrapers, there are so many opportunities available for professional, for construction managers, for engineers and whatnot. So there are so many people who are willing to hire. There are so many businesses. There are over 1 million businesses in New York City, and they are constantly growing. That means there are plenty of opportunities to start your career or to grow your career. And as I said before, I think when you are 18 or 19 and you want to explore your career paths, or you want to get experiences of your life, you should probably come to New York City. It teaches you a lot of skills. It teaches you how to survive. That's the main basic goal of life. Like if you understand that, you will be good, and you will understand the importance of money, you will understand the importance of education, you will understand the importance of saving, investing, how to act, how to socialize, how to network. There are so many points which you will be able to get when you work in New York City, or you come and stay here in New York City, because this is like a crowded place. There are many cultures, there are many people to connect to, and there are many people to talk to, and so many opportunities and so many competition as well. It's like a roller coaster ride which you will face, and within this 4 years, that's what I experienced till now. Another pro I would like to say is higher salaries. Now, if you take an average of suppose any of the field like construction managers, then you will find that around 9 to 10% the salary is higher in New York City as compared to other places around the United States. Why? Because the cost of living is more, so you get a paycheck which is more. So usually the minimum wage here in New York City is at least $15. If you go to Ohio, it's around $10, $11. So it makes a difference. You get much more higher salary of your job role than anywhere else. So that's a plus point which you should consider. The negative point which I would say is transit complexions. I won't say it's a negative point because you have the best subway system here which you can find in the entire country, like just like Chicago. You can find it here in New York City, which you can reliable. Like if you take a car, it will take you much more longer time than when you commute into a subway or a train station or a bus. But not all the time it is reliable. Like if you have a meeting, you have to plan ahead if there are delays in the trains or not, and blah blah blah. So it's not always reliable, and if you take a car or Uber or anything, it's going to get you stuck in the traffic. The next point I would like to say is mobility. Now, when it comes to traveling from one point to another point, like from point A to point B, there are not only subways and bus systems available, but there are also ferries which goes to from, like suppose there is a Staten Island ferry which you can take from Staten Island to Manhattan, and there is like the blocks. Manhattan is like only around 3 or 3.5 miles away. So if you want to go from downtown to midtown or uptown, it literally you can take a walk if you want to for few blocks. It will take 10-15 minutes, or you can take trains. And if you want to go beyond the river, you have to pass the Hudson River or any kind of surrounding rivers of New York City, then you take a ferry. So many people commute via ferry to come to work or go. So there are many pros that you can take the public transportation, and I think this is very good. A public transportation. Why? Because this is a major city. So you will find that as a pro point, that the mobility of New York City is amazing. You will get ferries, you will get bus, taxis, and subway system. So you, even if you don't own a car, that should be completely fine. And if you're a student, I understand you might be in financial crisis, you might be in student debt. So it's always good not to have a car and rack up your debt more by paying for insurances, paying for all your car expenses. So I would highly recommend to come to New York City if you're not planning to buy a car. You can get to point A to point B in very short amount of time and quickly via public transportation. The con of this is overstimulation. Now, there is a lot of stress. Many people face stressful life because they have to commute, they have to work on a fast pace because it's New York City. Nothing is slow here. You have to work extra hours. So what happens is you need some peaceful mind. Like whenever the friends who are living in New York City, ask them what they do on weekend. They will say that they stay away from the city, they stay away from Manhattan, they go to upstate New York, or they go to Connecticut or somewhere peaceful area. Why? Because there is a lot of stress which is around the city, and which will make you feel like you are overstimulated, and which will give you anxiety, and which will give you some mental health issues as well. So it's really important to balance those. So a negative kind of point about this city, that it gives you a lot of stress because it's always in a fast pace. Everyone is moving so fast, the business is running so fast, there is always work. This city never sleeps, so there is always some things going on. It's not only about this city, it's just generalizing that all over the states, all over the world, there might be stress, there might be issues regarding your personal life, or some financial issues, or the work issues. But you have to deal with this, you have to cope up with this, and then figure out what is the best solution for it. The best pro thing of New York City is networking or socialization. Why I'm telling that? Because there are so many people. You will find a person who will align to your interest. There are so many places to go: museums, parks, Central Park, zoo, aquarium, whatnot, beach around Coney Island, in Brooklyn. There are so many places where you can just sit and hang out. Bars or professional clubs. More people, more networking opportunities. You can meet so many people every week, not only at your work. Like suppose you work in a building where there are so many people, you say hi, hello, good morning every day, you certainly will become friends. You walk on the street, on the subway, you take the same train, over the years in the same cabin, you will make friends, you will say hi, eventually you will socialize. So there are so many points, so many opportunities which this New York City gives you of networking that you will be amazed to see that you can make friends. There are so many clubs for professionals like us as well that you can join them. You can go on weekends. There are so many other things to explore, and that's the best way, I would say, that New York City is best for networking events as well. As a conclusion, I would like to say that if you are planning to move to New York City and if you are a college student, that's a heads up. You should definitely come here. You will get so many exposures, so many career opportunities, so many networking opportunities, and you will learn a lot of life skills staying in New York City. And I would again say that 18 to 30 years old, this city is the best because it teaches you a lot, and also it will explain you the importance of investing, savings, career opportunities, and how to treat people, how to behave, how to socialize, how to network. I find more pro than con. So working as a professional in New York City has led me to a position that I'm well confident. My communication skills are good, my networking skills, I meet a lot of people, I communicate with them. It has taught me so much important skills which are needed in life, like responsibilities, time management, how to talk to people, how to communicate with them, how to socialize. This is the city where if you want to open up a career option, you should come and explore. It might be expensive when you think, but your pay scale will be higher. And if you are willing to learn your life skills, this is the place to be. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you got some information regarding New York City. That's all, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.